Good afternoon, grade 12. We will start off today's lesson with a quick game, per usual. So today's game will be, what am I thinking of? So I'm going to say a statement and you're going to think what the answer would be based on a statement. So what am I thinking of? Hint, this is based off the previous lesson. Okay, so let's go the first one. I am thinking of a task people have to do to earn money. What comes to mind? What am I thinking of? The answer is work. Awesome if you got it. If you didn't get it, let's evaluate our definition of work and then we'll be able to determine that that would be the appropriate answer. I am thinking of a person that engages someone for financial gain. Hmm. What am I thinking of? Employer. So if you got that answer, give yourself a pat on the back. Awesome job. So today's lesson will be quality in the workplace. We're going to look at qualifications, skilled and unskilled professions. The objectives for today is to define key terms, work environment, skilled and unskilled, discuss qualities employers seek in employees, and compare and contrast skilled and unskilled professions. So boggle game. So this lesson is a pre-recorded lesson, so it's not as if we're going to be able to do this interactively at this current moment. However, I would encourage you all to use the PowerPoint and actually attempt to play the game to see how much words you could create out of a given bowl of letters. So if you want to attempt it, the objective of the game is just to look at the letters and create as much words from it as possible. I place a time limit of 3 minutes, so I would urge you or encourage you all to use the 3 minutes mark as well. Okay, so here is the bowl of letters. Mhm. So definitions. So some of the words that you may have found in those letters would have been skilled, unskilled, work environment. So what is skilled? Okay, so skilled labor is referred to as a segment of the workforce who has acquired special skills. Unskilled labor is used to refer to a segment of the workforce associated with a limited skill set or minimal economic value for the work performed. Work environment is defined as working environment which is a broad term and means all your surroundings when working. So what does all of this mean, Mr. Mnet? What it simply means is this. A skilled person is a person who would probably receive some sort of formal training, some sort of certificate, some sort of tertiary education that would propel them from being average. Okay, so unskilled, you don't have any certificates, you don't have any higher sort of learning in the tertiary institution, you don't have any training and any sort of trade, though these would be considered unskilled workers. And your work environment is just a broad term to mean your general surroundings at work. Okay, the physical as well as the emotional environment at work. What is quality in the workplace? A quality workplace is essential to keep your employees on task and working efficiently. An excellent work environment is marked by such attributes as competitive wages, trust between the employees and management, fairness for everyone, and a sensible workload with challenging yet achievable goals. All this comes together to provide the best possible working conditions. So we're going to look at some of those um, attributes outlined previously later on in this lesson. But what I want you to gather from this is the fact that These things together creates the best working condition, which is beneficial for both employers and employees. What is quality in the workplace? So, a small business professional will profit from creating the best possible work environment. Why? This is because if you are already operating on a small scale, you would want your productivity to be great. You wouldn't want to have fewer staff, fewer people, and their quality not matching the demand that you have because you're already short staffed. So you want to make sure the few people that you do have is operating at its full capacity. One of the best ways to create a quality workplace is by showing employees they are quality workers. So we cannot just expect people to be quality employees when we don't, or you can't just expect of a quality workplace without showing employees quality. The most tangible way to express this is by providing competitive compensation and benefits to your staff. We know a lot of Bahamian people and even some foreign companies find it extremely hard for individuals to be paid um, wages that they're deserving and to be given benefits that is deserving, especially in jobs or careers where it's risky. And to be honest, if we're going to speak frankly, this is probably some of the reasons why people commit white collar crimes and steal from their employers because they figure if I'm not going to be paid what is deserving to me, I'm going to get the money somehow, some way. So pay your persons what is due to them, give them the benefits that is due to them, and you most likely get a positive reaction from it. Employees have financial and health needs that you can help provide by offering wages and benefit package commensurate with their contribution to your business. So, in addition to providing such benefits, you could even provide persons with enough money in order to provide these things for themselves because especially in today's climate, I think we now realize how important it is to have health insurance and to take care of ourselves. And so providing persons with enough money, wage it, to take care of themselves and to afford health insurance is very important. I don't know if you all know, but I called around inquiring about how much it would cost for health insurance. And that's not cheap. I think the lowest was like $400 a month. Bear in mind that minimum wage is 210. It's highly unlikely that you'll be able to afford it on that salary if you have bills and obligations. Okay, so quality employers. Trust. You need trust in almost every relationship, and the same thing spills over into the workplace. So trust between managers and employees is the most important aspect of a quality workplace. Workers will not thrive under a system in which they suspect managers are only interested in the bottom line results, and this is the only reason they attempt to create a decent workplace for employees. This is the truth. However, sometimes you have good employees that cannot help themselves. But if you, me personally, if I find out at the end of the day you don't care about me, you don't care about my well-being, and the only thing you care about me is getting my work done, I'm most likely not to go beyond the call or to do more than what's required of me. I'm not gonna do it. And you find a lot of employees are the same way. if you don't show if you don't show that it's a mutual relationship and not a one-sided, which a lot of people are of the assumption of because they think because they give you money that is a one-side trade. It's not a one-side trade. You trade your time for their money. You trade your time for service to their customers so they can generate money. There's a system. And so once individuals would have realized that this relationship is one-sided, a lot of people is, as we say in Bahamian terms, we clock out. You get a different person. Okay, so you must be above board with everything you do so trust can develop. You must be above board with everything you do so trust can develop. You must be authentic, okay? You must be genuine. You must demonstrate to the people that even though you may not be friendly per se, but at the end of the day, you still have an interest on becoming like amicable, and you respect the persons who you work with or you work for. Tell employees that, of course, you are concerned with profitability, but that you are concerned with employee welfare and happiness as well. I have been on a job when it was quite apparent to me that my health and well-being came second to their profit. And this was during the coronavirus, in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic, which is still ongoing as we speak. And that's discouraging to me personally when I realized that that's how it was, that you only saw profit as your bottom line. You didn't even care about my health. I no longer use my lunch hour to work for you. I went inside the car and I played music and I just chilled for my lunch hour, for my 1 hour, because you are not deserving of my hour. And I didn't care how much work was left. I didn't care what customer wasn't being served, because at the end of the day, you wasn't checking for me. Someone that ain't checking for you. And that's just that. Prove it to them with actions that match your words. If you want to prove to your employees that you care about their welfare and their happiness, you have to be able to listen. You have to be able to take note of the problems and complaints. And you actually have to make changes towards it. No one wants lip service. We actually want to see change. Structure. This is our second point. The HR Leader website says a quality workplace is one which is structured. This means employees must be given clear directives, responsibilities, and transparent method of reporting issues. So, what they're saying to you is this. Just like how in our society we have a hierarchy, we have a system, a social system, the same thing must be in place and an established business. So an employee at the very bottom, let's just say a janitress or a cashier, should not go straight to the boss, the highest person. They should probably speak to the store manager before, or the supervisor, then go to the store manager. It's a structure, it's a role, it's a process that you must do as an employee. And I must note that you must also provide a clear outline of the structure, which I feel like is missing in a lot of Bahamian businesses. So structured guidelines give workers the clarity and definition they need in order to operate effectively on the job. If I know what is expected, I could probably perform in the manner in which you want. If I do not know what you want, I most likely will not be able to do what you want, because no one reads mine. If you expect something, make your expectations be known. Provide written materials describing your organization's structure and distribute to all on your staff. So put it in writing. And I feel like when this speaks specific to employees in this instance, but I feel like also as you go into the work field, you should inquire about it. Sometimes persons forget, or sometimes you could just get some sort of verbal confirmation on what it is that is expected of you, so you could prepare. You could determine if there's something that I want to do or if there's something I do not want to do. Open your door to questions from employees regarding how the business operates. Always be open-minded. You want to make sure that, as persons enter a new business, that they fully understand the system and how things work. It just is conducive for a smooth sailing operation. Fair management. Third point. Quality is measured in terms of fairness in the workplace. Whew, that's a lot. Employees should be able to trust that their managers are equitable in their treatment of all. We as Bahamians love to say it's not what you know, it's who you know. And so it's who you know that gets you into most jobs. And it's also who you know that becomes favored in these jobs. And it shouldn't be. So stick to company principles and regulations when dealing with delicate workplace issues so it'll be obvious you're behaving in a fair manner. Now, I'm not going to call no company name, but I have a specific problem with one of these companies here in New Providence simply because of the unfair treatment given to my sister. For you to penalize someone for someone else's mistake when the person admits to it is unfair treatment. And in the Bahamas, we have colorism, which we find a lot of employees favor persons of the lighter skin complexion, which was that example. Be very wary of those type of behavior when you enter the job field. At the end of the day, you can't control how people perceive you. You can only do your best. But I don't want you to be discouraged when you go into the work field and you figure out that people will discriminate against you solely on the basis of your skin. That you will get passed up for promotion solely based on the color of your skin or maybe your gender. People are unfair towards you in terms of your gender, maybe your sexuality, maybe your religion, maybe where you're from, your origin. All these things are various aspects that people can victimize you on and be prejudiced towards you, which will result in unfair treatment. And next thing, when you tell your boss no or you correct them, be wary that when you decide to take that step, you are going to catch, as Bahamian people say, some smoke. You are not going to be treated in the same light. You are not going to be treated fairly because most Bahamian employers and foreign employers as well do not know how to take constructive criticism, even if you come from a good place, a respectful place. The mere fact that you, an employee of me, can tell me what to do, it don't sit well with them. So keep that in mind. Do not let personal preferences guide your decisions as this could cause you to allow bias to be a determining factor. So, all the reasons why we stated earlier as to why you could have unfair management, keep that in mind in your conscious mind of what to of try not to allow it to spill over into your judgments, because at the end of the day our personal feelings doesn't go away. It doesn't go aside. You can't put it in your pocket and then take it back out when you're ready. That's not how it works. But as a leader, you are supposed to be able to leave or differentiate it or operate in a manner that is not biased. All my history children in this class would know what bias means. Okay, so reasonable workload. No employee should be expected to handle a massive workload in which they cannot possibly, sorry, correct that please, complete the work to the best of their abilities. Supervisors must carefully judge how many tasks to assign to individual workers and consider the complexity and length of projects when deciding how much work is enough but not too much. Alter your directives if it becomes obvious you have placed more on an employee than she can effectively handle. So, is this person who I know works at a hotel? This person spoke out about one being employed by this specific hotel for a year and not knowing their status, whether they were still a contract worker or were they a full-time worker. And when they voiced their concern about it, suddenly the workload got increased. Mm. And also, they had complained about the fact that the workload was so much. And after they complained about the workload being so much, the workload became even heavier. These are the things that we see in our working society. And also a thing that people does as well is a lot of businesses feel as though you could take two and three different positions, two to three different jobs, titles, and do it for the price of one. We want you to be the receptionist, the cashier. We want you to be the clerk. We want you to be the cleaner. We want you to be the manager. But we also only want you to receive $210 per week. But as a good supervisor, as creating a quality environment, you should always seek to ensure that there's a fairness in the distribution of work. And you don't want to overwork your employees, because if you overwork your employees, and your productivity and your quality of work is going to decrease. So at the end, you only hurt yourself, not the not the people, but yourself as a business. To fully understand skilled labor, it is important to know what unskilled labor is and how it differs. Unskilled labor refers to work that doesn't require a certain set of skills or formal education, as we would have explained earlier. So some examples of unskilled labor includes cashier, grocery clerks, and cleaners. So I don't want to create a negative connotation to unskilled workers, because as we would have seen throughout this whole pandemic, the unskilled workers were able to work through the pandemic basically, while skilled persons were being fired because the market for them had not been able to continue during the COVID-19 pandemic. So everything has its place in society. We all can't be doctors, lawyers, and all the teachers. But we need some people to be cashiers and grocery clerks and cleaners, and it's okay if that's your job. No discrimination, no judgment. Okay, so the main difference between these two types of work is the fact that skilled labor requires specialized training, whereas unskilled labor does not. In addition, because of the many technological advances in place today, there is more demand for skilled labor than unskilled labor. Due to this, many unskilled labor workers are choosing to gain specialized skills to move into skilled labor positions. Lastly, skilled labor workers tend to get paid more than unskilled labor workers because of their background, education, skills, and training. So these are things that we already discussed earlier, just putting it in a more formalized version. One thing I want you to remember from this is that unskilled workers has the ability to progress into skilled workers. Simple as that. Okay, so we have a group assignment. Yay! I know you are enthused at this moment. Nonetheless, yes, so we are in groups of four with about 25 each. You're each given a topic. You are going to research this topic. And I also want to note, based on the previous group assignment, I saw some of you decided that you were going to copy my information verbatim into the assignment. That's not what I'm asking you to do. That's not acceptable. That's not showing you're researching. That's not showing you're doing work. That's very lazy. Don't do it. So you're going to research. You're actually going to use the search engines, and you're going to find out information about trust and structure. Elaborate on what was said. Okay? So I gave you the guideline of what basically I'm looking for. Now find out more information. So you're gonna find out group one about trust and structure. Sorry. Group two, you're gonna find out about fair management and reasonable workload. Group three, you're gonna find out about skilled laborers, and group four, you're gonna find out about unskilled laborers. You're gonna look specifically, let's go in order, at why are trust and structure important for employees an employer seeking a quality workplace, and you're going to present your findings in the form of a poster. Group 2, you're going to look at fair management and reasonable workload, and you're going to be presenting your findings in the form of a song or a rap. Group 3, you're going to be looking at skilled laborers, and you're going to present your findings in the form of a podcast. Group 4, you're going to present your findings in the form of a newscast. Okay, so this is group 1, group 2, 3, 4. If anyone have any questions, please feel free to ask. As always, the assignment is due before next class. As always, have a blessed day and best of luck.